guy goes into the US Postal Services to apply for a job. The interviewer asks him, "Are you allergic to anything?" He replies, "Yes, caffeine. I can't drink coffee." "Okay, have you ever been in the military service?" "Yes," he says. "I was in Afghanistan for one tour." The interviewer says, "That will give you 5 extra points toward employment." Then he asks, "Are you disabled in any way?" The guy says, "Yes. A bomb exploded near me and I lost both my testicles." The interviewer grimaces and then says, "Disabled in your country's service? Well, that qualifies for extra bonus points. Looking at the regulations, you have got enough points for me to hire you right now. Our normal hours are from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can start tomorrow at 10 a.m. and plan on starting at 10 a.m. every day." The guy is puzzled and asks, "If the work hours are from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., why don't you want me here until 10 a.m.? This is a government job." The interviewer says, "For the first 2 hours, we just stand around drinking coffee and scratching our balls. No point in you coming in for that." 3 friends, a turtle, a mole, and a bear are drafted and have to join the army. But neither of them want to go, so they need to provide medical proof why they can't join. "It's easy for me," says the turtle. "I am slow." He enters the examination room, and when he comes out, he happily tells his friend that he is, in fact, too slow. "Well," says the mole next, "I am literally blind. How would they want me?" And he's right. He comes out a few minutes later and hugs his friends that he doesn't have to join the army because they don't need a blind mole. "Okay, guys," says the bear, terrified. "Let's face it, I am one of the biggest and most dangerous animals. I am the perfect soldier." "I have an idea," says the turtle slowly. "The most dangerous part of you are your teeth. Without your teeth, you are not really dangerous. So if we just smash your teeth, they won't want you." Reluctantly, the bear agrees, and the 3 friends start smashing the bear's teeth. Without teeth, the bear enters the examination room and after 10 minutes comes out again with a hanging head and sad face. "So, you have to join army?" the turtle asks carefully. The bear mumbles, "No, I'm too fat." So 2 guys get called up for military service. Coincidentally, they both live in the same street, so they share a ride. During the ride, one says to the other, "I'm going to tell you right now, they will disqualify me for a military service." The other replies, "Really, how can you be so sure?" "I'll tell you later," the first guy answers. Anyway, they get there, and the first guy needs to go in for medical inspection. Before he goes into the room, he slips $100 between his ass cheeks and walks into the doctor's office. After a couple of checks, the doctor says, "I'm confident you'll make a fine infant treatment. I just have to check your backside." So the guy drops his pants and his underwear and bends over. "Oh dear," the doctor says, "I'm afraid I'm going to have to disqualify you. You've got hemorrhoids." So the guy walks out and tells his friend, "About just slip 100 between your ass cheeks and you'll be fine," he says. So the guy stands there thinking about it and about the fact that $100 is a lot of money. So he takes $10 out of his wallet, slips it between his ass cheeks, and walks into the doctor's office. After a couple of checks, the doctor says, "I'm confident you'll make a fine infant treatment. I just have to check your backside." So the doctor checks his backside and says that everything is fine, and he passed the test. The guy turns around and says, "What? You just told my friend he was disqualified because of his hemorrhoids." "Yes," replied the doctor, "but his condition is 10 times worse." So, we drunk coming from a nightclub, that Dawn wandered off the path and trespassed into a military camp. He was urinating on one of the camp's flower beds when he was arrested and given a punishment to move a pile of some 1,000 bricks from a shed to a nearby site on the camp where some construction was to take place. Midway into the punishment, and as the sun was rising and the camp coming more and more alive with soldiers reporting for duty, he caught a glimpse of a familiar face disembarking from a military vehicle. He called out his name. He was his old neighbor. The neighbor came to greet him, and as it turned out, he was the in charge of the camp. "My friend, your soldiers here caught me urinating on those flowers. I didn't do it on purpose. I was drunk. They gave me this punishment of moving bricks," he complained. His old neighbor looked concerned and responded, "It's all right. Just return the bricks to where they were. There are people who will be moving them today." The military is cutting staff and decide to get rid of 3 generals, one from the Army, the Air Force, and the Marines. All of them are old, grizzled men who had seen their fair share of war, so the Pentagon comes up with a unique bonus system for their service. They can choose 2 points of their bodies, and for every inch between them, they would get 10,000. First up was the Army General. He chose to measure between the tips of his middle fingers with his arms spread wide. Second was the Air Force, who chose the top of his head to the soles of his feet. Then came the Marine General. "I want you to measure from the tip of my dick to my balls." The men running the measuring laughed and then asked him seriously where he wanted to measure. "I am being serious. Now start measuring." The men tried to dissuade him, but he was adamant. Finally resigned, one of the men takes the measuring tape and goes to take the measurement. When the general removed his pants, the man jumped up in shock. "Sir, where are your balls?" "In Vietnam." So a recent survey of women had caused quite a stir in the aviation community, as it revealed that a majority of women would prefer to be romantically involved with an amateur pilot rather than an experienced military jet pilot. This news had caused a great deal of confusion and frustration among the ranks of professional pilots. Tom, a young airman, had been particularly upset by the survey results. As he sat at the bar, with his body, he slammed his phone down on the counter in frustration. "Damn it!" he exclaimed. His friend turned to him, concerned. "Tom, calm down. What's got you so riled up?" Tom glared at his friend, his voice filled with anger. "I just read an article that says women want to hook up with amateur pilots over good-looking pilots like us that keep the skies safe," he said. His friend shook his head, trying to reason with him. "Relax, Tom. It has nothing to do with how we look or how safe we make them," he said. But Tom was not satisfied. "Then what is it?" he retorted. His friend paused for a moment before replying, "Women just want to hook up with a man. That'll go down without a fight." My friends, if you want to watch other funny jokes, subscribe to the channel.